Introducing the not-so-pleasing part of our city, a side of the city we rarely reflect upon, but is the direct reflection of our own actions. A testament that does not speak but shows. A perfect evidence of our own crimes. How can chemistry be used within our day-to-day lives to solve the jarring issue that plagues the globe? Let's begin.
Implementing chemistry for better environment is like a main role for a chemist. For now, we call it a green pollution. Okay, in green pollution, we study a lot in chemistry side. Like for example, catalysts help us to reduce the pollution. We design a new technology to reduce a pollution, because for now in this era pollution is kind of very high.
Chapter 1 Introduction. Whilst browsing about the possible solutions, an innovation stood out to me that utilizes a soluble film, which brings us to the topic at hand. Have you ever heard of something called soluble plastic? Soluble plastics are, as its name suggests, a polymer that dissolves, disperse, or swell in solutions. Introducing PVA. Polyvinyl alcohol is an odorless and tasteless, translucent white or cream-colored granular powder. It is used as a moisture barrier film for food supplements that needs to be protected from moisture uptake. It is non-toxic, biodegradable, and safe for consumption. It was first prepared by Hermann and Hachner in 1924 by hydrolyzing polyvinyl acetate in ethanol with potassium hydroxide. Hydrolysis is a chemical reaction in which a molecule of water breaks one or more chemical bonds. The physical characteristics and its specific functional uses depend on the degree of polymerization and the degree of hydrolysis. So, what is polymerization? Polymerization is a process of reacting monomer molecules together in a chemical reaction to form polymer chains. It is then classified into two classes. At the end, we hope to uncover and grasp slightly better the concept of PVA, where it stands, and what are its future possibilities. By having a deeper understanding of this material, we can decide and plan our future actions which will benefit the planet most. The first thing that came to my mind was, how is polyvinyl alcohol soluble in water? And as it turns out, it's due to something that we have learned before, hydrogen bonding. So, polyvinyl alcohol comprises of a large amount of hydroxyl group, and these large amount of hydroxyl groups, they interact with water molecule, and hence this is why polyvinyl alcohol is soluble in water. Practicals. For the experiment itself, the first thing I did is just pouring my alcohol within my PVA bag and just sealing it tight by tying a knot around it and cutting the excess plastic. Taking the pandemic into context, I decided to craft something that would be beneficial and useful to the situation that we are facing, creating a plastic-free, portable, and easy-to-use hand sanitizer was the first thing that came to my mind. The first thing that we need to know is polyvinyl alcohol is slightly soluble in ethanol, which is a polymer that is commonly used in alcohol hand sanitizers. And what I noticed after a while is that these blobs will disintegrate sooner or later. So the inner layer of PVA bag will dissolve in the ethanol and it will become weaker and weaker. And although it might work for one day, if you leave it be for around maybe 1 week, it will definitely be really mushy and it will definitely break just from a slight touch. So now, although this is a really cool invention and it does work, it is not something that is practical and its lifespan is way too short to be of use. So we need to find something that has no high moisture and something that is related to the pandemic situation. I thought that since these packagings are FDA approved and they are consumable, safe for human, this could serve as something more of a container for medicines within the hospitals. So for instance, I have a coffee right here, but if we think of these coffees as powdered dehydrated medicines, we can see that these actually works as a container, and hence these just open up a whole new alternatives to the conventional plastic packaging. Although just for disclaimer, I won't be drinking this coffee since the PVA bag I bought is not for food purposes. What's amazing is this is just one of the many implementations of chemistry within our global climate change situation. Concluding, although I can see a future within the packaging industry where PVA may be of use, its uses are very limited since its soluble nature makes it a very tricky material to deal with. However, the question regarding this material that still stands is if PVA is the answer to begin with. Life cycle assessments, LCAS, are necessary in assessing new material options to compare on our usage and its contributions towards the progressive path of climate crisis. In essence, a good quote I saw was, "All that glitters is not gold." A proper evaluation, not just towards its uses, but towards its qualifications, are necessary to set our food into the right direction. Hopes. So what should happen? The realization towards finding a creative alternative by the constant search of brand new materials, chemicals, and inventions is truly necessary to craft an innovative, pioneering, but most importantly, environmentally conscious society. The awareness towards these issues should be past our targets, a given at our social lives. A future in which these issues do not haunt us on the back of our neck is possible. It just requires a lot and consistent effort within our lifestyles, within all of us. All. I hope that we, within our lifetimes, can establish a foundation that the people of the future can build up to solve this worldwide issue. Now, let us join our hands to do this together, because today is for the better tomorrow, and today matters. Let's start today. Spread the words, do the work. Remember, Earth for us for Earth. Whatever you give is whatever you get. Thank you everyone for watching. If you are interested in knowing further about these kind of issues, please check out my research paper that I will be linking down below. Special thanks to all of my teachers that have agreed on an interview and all of my friends that have supported me along the way.